January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month, and joining us now via Zoom is the warrior herself, our dear friend, Lynn Shaw of Lynn's Warriors. Lynn, it is always great to see you.
Good morning. I want to thank you, Jeremy and Christine, first of all, and Ozarks Fox AM for always having me on to discuss these critical and crucial, important, safety tips for families and kids. And again, like you said, January is Human Trafficking Awareness Month. Let's really, in 2023, come together and let's really take action. We no longer have the luxury of sitting on the sidelines, right? Everything is so overwhelming. So much is going on in our own homes, communities, in the country. We have to, take our children aside and start communicating. That is the number one tip. And I know it's difficult because everybody's busy with their lives and working in school, but we have to start the digital family partnerships. Communication, sitting down, not the kids, us versus them, adults telling the kids, no, you can't do it. Let's find out. Let's really find out. What games are you on? What apps are you on? Are you talking to strangers? I guarantee if you start with 5 minutes a day, opening this up, whether it's at the kitchen table or, dining table, or you're in the car driving with the kids, start communicating because the kids do want to talk to us. I do a lot of focus groups, and when I gain their trust, they eventually say, oh yeah, you're taking an interest. Let's really talk about it, because we know the internet, all backed up what we say at the Warriors by studies, is an addiction. That goes for adults too, but we'll leave that for another segment. Internet, yes, is an addiction. And we also know with big tech, there's no accountability. And children are the currency. They are the eyes. They are the ones the marketers are going after. So we kind of live in this swipe society. You can't blame parents. You can't blame kids. So much is thrown at everybody online. And we're constantly swiping. We're bored. Swipe to the next, swipe to the next. And we also know from studies that the algorithms direct kids and teens. I like to say everybody 30 and under has really grown up in this digital bubble. So it's nobody's fault. The algorithms do direct people towards a lot of harmful content. So what are we going to do about it? Number one, I mentioned communication. Number two, you probably bought those devices. You probably pay as the parent or grandparent or caregiver in your home for the internet. So you have a right to say, these are our devices, our phones. You have to start early also. We can't tell parents what age to give their child a phone or a laptop or a Chromebook. But we can direct them to push off as far, and this is hard because all their friends have phones and all of this, but push it off as much as you can. Default to safety. That's one of our big tips, default to safety. Every device has safety tips. And when people say it's too hard to follow these 31 steps on the Apple iPhone, you can actually leverage the internet for good. And you can YouTube anything and say, how do I set my privacy settings on the iPhone or the Android? It's all there for you. You just have to, put in a little elbow grease, do a little work. So we want everybody to be aware. We know human trafficking is bad, right? We know all of this. We don't even have to talk about it. It is being fueled by the internet, which we know is fueling the kids and how they are acting. It's distracting for, mental health, their education. We have to get back on track. The pendulum has to swing back, but it starts with us. We have to train the adults to know what's going on, not be scared of the internet. And we also, the other thing I figured out, believe it or not, my light bulb went off over the holidays. We have to have peer-to-peer training. We have to have, teens teaching other teens what this is all about. Because let's face it, I can talk to them, blue in the face, but coming from another 15-year-old, a peer, that's not cool exchanging, nude images. That's not cool doing that online. And so there are a lot of good little organizations. I have so much hope in 2023. First of all, more awareness, especially being on this program. More people are learning about it. More people are taking action. And we have a lot of groups like World Without Exploitation Youth storming the United States, college campuses. They've just begun putting up these workshops peer-to-peer. We also have Wonder Girls USA, starting here where I am in New York City, New Jersey, Connecticut, branching out across the United States. That's high school girls. So there is a lot of positive movement, and I have high hopes that when I get back to Washington next week, and we resume with the 118th Congress, that we can push through a lot of these safety bills. We have 6 of them pending to hold big tech accountable right now, because right now it's the Wild West out there. There is no accountability. But I feel like this is going to be the year a lot of things are going to change.
That's amazing. And I know, Christine, you have 2 teenagers, so this is very pertinent to you right now because this is something you have to worry about.
It is, and I love, Lynn, the way you're saying, you know, it's a dialogue, it's a conversation. I feel very fortunate that my 2 teenagers are very collaborative in that conversation. And I just want to cast my vote for what you said, that as parents and grandparents, we do pay for the phone. You own that phone. They do not. I can't tell you how many times I've had the conversation with my children. That is not your phone, it's our phone. And I can, you know, your dad and I actually own that property. So I don't like the ownership around a phone, that teens feel like nobody should touch it, nobody should see what's going on with it. You've got to take kind of that control back, I think.
So, Lynn, what would you suggest then, too? Because I know a lot, especially, there have been a lot of grandparents now that are raising their grandkids. And the grandparents necessarily don't feel tech savvy enough to go and know what to look for. What do you recommend for the grandparents, then, who need to get more educated?
Well, first of all, I actually have more grandparents reaching out to me lately saying, I'm watching the kids, or I see what's going on, and I can't get my son or daughter, the parent, on board. What I say is, community creates change. That's what I always hashtag. Even if you start as a grandparent in the home and get a couple of other grandparents together, you just talk about it. And then maybe you form a little group. I know it sounds a little corny, but this is the way we have to go. It's, again, at the grassroots level, one person at a time, raising awareness, getting the tips out there. And they have to, you can always go to linswarriors.org. Even if you just share that information on your platform or you read it, but it has to snowball. It has to start with an individual who then is willing to share positive information, facts and truths. Because at the Warriors, we're all about facts, truths, well-vetted studies, because there's a lot of misinformation, propaganda out there. We do know, everybody needs to know, wherever the kids are, I don't care if you're 18 or you're 3 years old, if you're online, wherever the kids are, so are the predators. So let's reclaim our children in 2023. Let's educate ourselves. Let's start sharing knowledge. Let's start talking about it. Let's just make it part of our activities. We have to, because it is so out of control. It starts with us.
Lynn, before we run out of time, is this something, you said you're going to Washington, should we contact our congressman? Should people reach out and be in support of these issues that you're raising in Washington?
I'm so glad, Jeremy, you brought that up, because we cannot do this alone. We need all of you. We need everyone to become a warrior. What you can do, every name, every state counts. What you do, you can go to linswarriors.org. I have a toolkit, Undertake Actions. You simply put in your name and zip code. It will direct you who represents you. Remember, they work for us. We pay we pay taxes.
Yeah.
And they do keep logs on every phone call, every email, every letter. And so the more names that sign on, and all you have to put is, internet safety for kids. That's your subject.
Perfect.
It goes into that pile. They take notice. And remember, it's a bipartisan issue. These are human rights abuse issues, the abuse of our kids. It belongs to no political party. This is something everybody should and needs to get on board with. But yes, we need to contact our elected representatives. We need to urge them. Our children are precious. They are our future leaders as well, our future adults. We got to take care of them.
Awesome. Lynn, thank you so much. We love visiting with you. You're so knowledgeable, and best of luck in Washington. And please tell your husband, give him a big hug and hello from all of us here in Missouri.
Oh, I sure will. And a big hug and kiss to you and Christine. Thank you for having us on.
Thank you so much. Good to see you.
Bye.